Jennie's successor will be Jennie Lichter. Jennie will be the first mother to serve as president of the March for Life. Take a listen to what she had to say about this new adventure.
Jennie, you bring something very different to the March for Life as its new president, the only one with small children. Now, your children and your family, they're not strangers to seeing you in a high-powered position, but this is a little different. How have they received the news, and are they on board?
Absolutely. It's really special for me and my whole family to be stepping into this role as a mom of 3 little kids. And my family are all really excited about it. My husband is a longtime marcher with me, and his support and prayers and his care for our family when I can't be there are what are going to make this possible for me. And my children, as marchers themselves, are so excited to be a part of this work. And we have talked a lot with them about how, although leading the March for Life will be my job, it's really our family's calling. So they know that taking on this calling means that I might not be home quite as often, although I certainly will make every effort to keep my schedule as consistent as possible. But we've also talked about how my older kids, the 2 who are in elementary school, will actually come on the road with me sometimes. They'll travel with me to state marches occasionally throughout the year. And they are so excited about that, to kind of dive into the pro-life movement in a new way. And I think that will really mitigate for them the sense that, oh, mom is leaving again. You know, instead it becomes kind of an adventure that we're embarking on together to try and do some good in the world and show the beauty and the joy of family life and of doing something like this with your children and your family alongside you.
You've mentioned that it's been beautiful to watch your children at the March for Life with their signs that say, I am the post-Roe generation. Now that we are in the post-Roe moment, is that more meaningful to you?
Absolutely. I mean, watching my daughter, who's now 8 years old, carry her little sign down the street at the March for Life a year or 2 ago, right after Dobbs, I am the post-Roe generation. I look at the photo of her that day and it makes me tear up sometimes because it is so beautiful. And the idea that my daughters will grow up in a post-Roe world is so moving to me. It will open up so much more opportunity for them and let them have just a real, authentic sense of what it looks like to flourish as a woman. And I think they will hear a message that abortion is not necessary for their professional flourishing and their personal flourishing. And that women, in a way that I think wasn't meant by this slogan originally, really can have it all, right, in kind of the most robust and authentic way possible.
You're an attorney, and you're a Harvard-educated attorney, and you've had positions in government and also positions in leadership in the church. How does being an attorney kind of bring a different angle to what the March for Life represents or provides for its different partners in the country? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the March for Life and really the whole pro-life movement, right, I think are being called to try and attain a new level of strategic savvy when it comes to legal strategy, political strategy, legislative strategy. And that's a world that I've been working in for the last 15 years in my legal and policy career. And I am really looking forward to sort of diving fully into that element of the work of the March for Life and trying to think through how we can continue to communicate with clarity and compassion, and also how can we kind of strategically move the needle in every way possible.
In your time working in the government, you really got the firsthand experience of the power of government agencies. Is that something that pro-lifers should really be leaning into and paying more attention to rather than less?
Absolutely, yes. Federal agencies have so much power, and they have so many different levers that they can use to accomplish their objectives, whether they're good objectives or, unfortunately, bad objectives. There's money that you can move around and distribute in different ways. There's policy and regulations, of course, that sort of bind certain entities, right, in what they are and aren't allowed to do. There is the power of the pulpit, essentially, just the bullhorn that the federal government has from the president on down through the agencies to push certain kinds of messages and use every tool at your disposal. So federal agencies, as I saw firsthand when I worked in the Justice Department in the White House, have an enormous impact on the lives of everyday Americans, including on pro-life issues.
Now, we know you as this high-powered attorney, but you also have a deep prayer life. How has prayer been a part of your preparation for this role?
Well, it's been really at the center of it from the very first moment that Jeannie Mancini asked me if I would consider taking on this role and trying to fill her really almost unfillable shoes. Right away after I walked out of that conversation, just sort of lifted it up to the Lord and said, wow, this is not something I saw coming. Lord, show me if this is where you want me to go. And it is just incredible, I think, when we bring ourselves fully in humility into prayer, how quickly and clearly the Lord can speak to our hearts. That was my experience in terms of discerning whether to take the role. And certainly since I said yes, I've been in prayer just every day that the Lord can lead my steps in my organizations and help us to be worthy messengers about the beauty and dignity of human life.
Under Jeannie's leadership, the pro-life march and the pro-life movement really opened itself up to groups that are secular, groups that are unlikely bedfellows, right? What will that look like, knowing that you do have this kind of deep spiritual accompaniment that feeds your pro-life mission?
Right, so my faith is really at the center of my pro-life commitment and will drive the way in which I lead the organization. But it is really important, and I think it's really beautiful that the pro-life coalition is really broad, and I think broadening all the time as the truth about the science of human development becomes better and better known, for example. So I am really looking forward to working alongside pro-life Americans of all beliefs and all stripes so that we can each in our own slightly different, beautiful way, message about the beauty of human life.
What does victory look like for you? What could you see a day where the March for Life doesn't exist?
You know, I hope that day doesn't come. Of course, I fully believe that we will win the battle to build a culture of life in this country. I think we can have the peace and confidence that comes from working for a righteous cause. We'll get there. It might take a while. But even when that day comes, the March for Life is about so much more than trying to make abortion illegal, for example. It's about making abortion unthinkable so that women don't feel that they have to choose abortion. But it's also about celebrating the beauty of life and about coming together as a community of people who care about the dignity of the unborn and about supporting moms and wrapping them with love and just really taking encouragement from each other and lifting each other up and showing the country and the world that we are still here and we're never going to get tired of providing that witness to the beauty of human life. So I can't imagine a day when that witness would be something that we don't still need and want to have on the streets of Washington every January.
Well, the March for Life has certainly chosen well. Thank you so much, Jennie.
Thank you very much.